It started on one of those mornings where the air still nips at your nose, but the sun's doing its best impression of spring. I had my first cup of coffee in hand, boots half-laced. Standing on the porch just watching the mist tangle itself between the trees out past the north line of my land, 8 acres of pine, dirt, and peace I'd carved out with my own 2 hands over a decade ago. I built that house myself, every nail, every concrete pour, even planted the damn apple trees I didn't inherit. This place wasn't just property to me. It was lived in, bled into, and fought for. So when I saw those orange stakes, the kind developers use when they're about to carve the world into squares, punched into my tree line like someone was playing a game of connect the dots, I knew something was wrong. There were tractor tracks too, deep ones, running right past my no trespassing signs like they meant nothing. My dog, Cooper, caught the scent first. He bolted ahead, tail stiff, nose low, and sure enough, fresh ribbons tied to stakes that were well inside my marked boundary. Now, I'm not the paranoid type. I've dealt with dumb kids cutting through before. Maybe a lost hunter once or twice. But this was deliberate. This was bold. I hauled out my old survey from the shed, laminated, notarized, and stamped by the state just 3 years ago. Every inch accounted for. Every line legit. And those stakes? They weren't even close to the easement line. Hell, there wasn't an easement line. Next morning, just as I'm pouring my second cup, the whole house starts humming. I look out the back window, and there it is, a full-blown excavator idling at the tree line. And not just one guy. No. There's a whole crew in safety vests moving with that entitled kind of confidence that says, we've already been paid. So I march out there flannel shirt, bedhead, and boots still untied, and I yell over the engine, hey, this is private property. Who gave you the go-ahead? One of them, clipboard guy, doesn't even look me in the eye. Just points to some laminated site map like it's the 10 Commandments. Says, Silver Hollow HOA approved a shared access route. It's marked. I laughed. Buddy, that paper's fantasy fiction. This land's mine. Always has been. He shrugs like I just told him the sky's blue. Take it up with the HOA, he mutters, walking off. So I did. And guess what? The HOA, Silver Hollow, they never even contacted me. No letter. No meeting. No damn knock on the door. Just waltzed onto my land like it was theirs and started carving up a road. I could practically feel the pine trees groan every time they ripped another root out of the earth. That night, I called a buddy of mine, Dean, used to work county records. He double-checked my parcel ID, the GPS coordinates, everything. Still yours, he said. No easement. No transfer. Nothing. 3 days later, a black SUV rolls up. Out steps the smooth-talking son of a gun, dress boots, blazer over a flannel, like he's trying to pass for local but still smells like city money. Name's Wyatt Lang. Said he was a liaison for regional development. I said, you mean a mouthpiece for the HOA? He gave me this greasy little grin and said, sometimes maps lie, Mr. Carter. But communities don't. I told him this wasn't about community. It was about theft, plain and simple. And if they thought I'd just roll over, they'd pick the wrong guy. Next day, I get a letter. Fancy seal. Gold lettering. 3 pages of HOA legalese explaining how a shared access route had been recorded in alignment with community planning needs. Along with a survey map so fake it might as well be been drawn with crayons. The kicker? They had the nerve to call me an obstacle to neighborhood safety. Then came the flyers. One of my neighbors brought one over, looking like he found a dead bird in his mailbox. You seen this? He asked, handing it to me. There I was, my porch, my driveway. Even my kid's bike in the shot, under a headline that read, Local resident blocks emergency road, endangers families. That night, I called my lawyer, Marcy. Sharp as a tack. Doesn't put up with HOA theatrics. She looked over the documents and said, they're bluffing. No easement, no agreement, no legal ground. They're banking on intimidation. So I responded in kind. Rented a flatbed, drove to a quarry 2 hours out, and brought back 6 Jersey barriers, the big boys. Unloaded them by hand with a crowbar and spite. Lined them up right across the clearing where they'd started building. Slapped on signs that read, private land. No access. Turn back or be prosecuted. That was the first time they got personal. Next morning, my daughter finds a box in the mailbox, no return address. Inside? A dead skunk. Flattened. Wrapped in shredded HOA flyers. With a note, this land already stinks. Might as well let it rot. So now it wasn't just a dispute. It was a dam declaration. The next week turned into a circus. They started staging these community outreach sessions right at the edge of my property. Folding chairs, banners, portable speakers. One dude in a pastel golf shirt giving speeches about civility while my kids couldn't even ride their bikes without getting stared at. So I rolled out my shop speakers, cranked up some AC/DC, and started grilling steaks right in front of their little town hall. That broke him faster than any court order. One of them screamed, "You're violating our right to assemble." I pointed at the private property sign bolted to my gate and said, "Y'all are violating my land with your entitlement." They stormed off, muttering about neighborhood unity. And just when I thought the stupid had peaked, they came back at 2 a.m. with fireworks. Duct taped together. Lit him under one of my concrete barriers and left. Didn't break the barrier, but left a scorch mark big enough to wake every deer for miles. I called the sheriff. For once, they actually gave a damn. Took pictures. Filed a report. Said they'd monitor the situation. Whatever that means. But the last straw came on a Wednesday night. I hear machinery. Loud. Close. I step outside, and there it is, a full-blown paving crew laying asphalt through my woods. Middle of the damn night. No permits. No notice. Just a smooth black road running right over my property like I didn't exist. I called the county. The dispatcher tells me the work's authorized under emergency infrastructure expansion. I nearly threw the phone through the window. I knew exactly whose fingerprints were on that, Wyatt Lang. So the next morning, I sent my wife and kids to stay with her sister. Enough was enough. I wasn't going to let this turn into something worse. I needed my head clear. Then I got to work. Called up an old colleague, Naomi Reyes, geospatial analyst, surveyor, and drone wizard. She owed me a favor. She rolled in with 2 drones, a LiDAR rig, and enough tech to start a Mars colony. We mapped everything, down to the inch. Every encroachment, every fake marker, every fake tag tied to a tree. Hell, they even used spray paint on rocks like it was official. One drone picked up symbols burned into tree trunks, HOA boundary markings, hidden from the road. But the real gem? A GPS timestamp from a county drone, assigned to, you guessed it, Wyatt Lang. Naomi handed me a flash drive and said, This is enough to make a judge blink. So I filed suit. Civil trespass. Fraud. Property destruction. Named the HOA. The homeowners who'd requested the road, the construction company, and Mr. Lang personally. Sued for $240,000 in damages and restoration. And I didn't just want the money. I wanted their names on paper as the ones who tried to steal land and lost. In court, they brought out their usual charm. Said it was all a miscommunication. Blamed the contractor. Blamed outdated maps. Even wheeled in a poster-sized copy of the fake survey. Then Marcy stood up. Quiet. Calm. Handed the judge my real survey. The laser scans. The drone footage with Naomi narrating like she was hosting a nature doc on invasion tactics. We even had a witness, Kip, the asphalt crew leader. Turns out he hadn't been paid in full. He flipped. Gave us internal work orders and testified that they were told not to worry about permits. Said Wyatt's name was dropped constantly as cover. Then came the knockout, the county records chief. Looked like a librarian, talked like a prosecutor. She revealed that Wyatt had manually filed a corrected map without authorization, forged approval codes, backdated signatures. Judge didn't say a word for a solid minute. Then dropped the gavel. We won. Full damages. HOA fined. Road access revoked. The contractor banned from county work. And Wyatt? Forwarded to the district attorney for criminal investigation. I walked out of that courthouse holding the verdict like a trophy. People cheered. Reporters swarmed. Someone even held a sign that said, Carter's land, Carter's rules. A month later, I put up a new gate. Custom steel. Welded letters across the top that read, Never again. HOA keep out. Wasn't subtle. Wasn't supposed to be. Funny thing is, a few weeks after that, I got a letter from the new HOA president. Apology. Formal acknowledgement. Offered to create a permanent buffer zone between our properties. I framed it. Hung it in the outhouse. Felt appropriate. That summer, I threw a cookout. Called it Freeland Day. Burgers, music, cold beers. No clipboards. No permits. Just neighbors who finally decided they liked my kind of boundary. One kid, high schooler, doing a civics project, asked if he could interview me. Held up his mic like I was some folk hero. I told him the truth. This land's yours when you stand on it. I said. But if someone tries to take it, don't scream measure. Record. Build your case. Then fight smart. He smiled, scribbled something down, and I just sat back in my chair, beer in hand, Cooper at my feet, watching the new gate shine in the sunset like a promise kept. Now I gotta ask you, what would you have done? Would you have backed down or stood your ground? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your story, because sometimes the only thing standing between you and losing what's yours is the will to fight smart.